Hello, dear students. Today I am going to take the third chapter from your main course book, and the name of the chapter is Two Stories About Flying. In this chapter, we have, as it says, two stories: his first flight and black aeroplane. Today, let's read the first one, his first flight, written by Liam O'Flaherty. It is a story about a little bird, seagull. Seagull is a bird that lives near the coastal areas, near the seas. So it is a story of a young seagull who's afraid to fly. So how does he conquer his fear? How does he remove his fear? This is the story about that. So I am going to take this one, some part of this story today. Okay, so let's read it now. His first flight. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. Ledge means on the rock, a narrow projected part of a rock here. Sitting there on the ledge of a rock, his two brothers and his sisters had already flown away the day before, the previous day. He had been afraid to fly with them. He could not fly because he was afraid. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. When he tried, after his brothers and sister already flown away, when he tried, he took a start, he ran, just reached at the brink, at the corner of the ledge. He was afraid, he was scared. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath. The great sea he could see there, and it was such a long way down, miles down. He was at a very high place on the rock. So from there, jumping down, only sea could be seen. So he was lot of scared. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. He has no confidence. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept last night. So he could not show the courage to jump and fly. He came back to his hole. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away, he failed to muster up courage. He failed to gather his courage to take that plunge, to take that step or action which appeared to him so desperate, though he wanted desperately to fly. But he failed to gather the courage. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, scolding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away, threatening that he would starve there, he would not be given any food unless he flies away. But for the life of him, he could not move. Even then, he could not collect any courage to fly. That was 24 hours ago. Now it was the one whole day past. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister. Last day, the whole day, he was watching his parents and brothers, sisters flying around, perfecting them in the art of flight. Parents teaching brother and sister how to fly, giving them practice and perfecting them in flying, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it. He also saw that his brother caught herring, a fish, and devour it, to enjoy it, to eat it, standing on a rock, while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle on the achievement of his brother. The parents were making noise of proud, and all the morning the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. All the family flown away to a cliff in front of them, to the opposite side, taunting him, making fun of him for his cowardice. The sun was now ascending the sky. The sun was going up, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. Now he could feel a lot of heat. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. Now it's been 24 hours he had not eaten, so he was feeling more heat and more weak he was feeling. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge. He came to the brink, the last corner of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wings, he closed one eye. Then he closed the other also and pretended to be falling asleep. He pretended he is sleeping. He was just pretending to show his family. Still, they took no notice of him. But they did not notice. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. On the other side, on the other plateau, brothers and sisters were taking a little sleep. Dozing means sleeping, keeping their heads into their necks. His father was preening his feathers on his white back. Preening means here maintaining. You might have seen the birds, many a time they maintain their feathers with their beak. So father was preening his feathers on his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. And now and again she tore a piece of fish that lay at her feet. Time to time she was tearing some piece of fish which was kept there at her feet, and then she scraped each side of her beak on the rock to sharpen. Many a time you might have seen the birds just scrap their beak on the stone, on the rocks, to make it more sharp. So mother was doing that. The sight of the food maddened. When this young bird saw that food mother was tearing, it made him mad. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. He used to do that also, like mother was tearing it apart, cutting into pieces. How he loved to do it, how he loved to get his food in that manner. So seeing mother doing the same thing, he was becoming more and more restless, excited, but he could not get it. Today I am taking this much only. Okay, and now there are few questions which you can attempt now, but I want you to answer only one question. The first one: why was the young seagull afraid to fly? Do you think all birds are afraid to make their first flight, or are some birds more timid than others? Timid means more coward than others. Do you think a human baby also finds it a challenge to take its first steps? Now this one question I want you to answer today. Okay, I'll be completing it tomorrow. So that's it for today. Thank you.